What is happening, people? We are back. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to this show. The season is finally coming to a close. Some people are really happy about that, and some people are kind of sadder. There's not many, I imagine, on this podcast, however, that are going to be buzzing for this last weekend, but we'll see. Big up, Joe. How you doing, bruv?
Good, mate. Good. I was saying to you off air, weren't I? I've missed the 12th man the last couple of times. I didn't want people thinking I was ducking because we're going down, you know what I mean? So when I seen your message, I was like, I'll jump on. Let's go.
No, it's calm, man. You're always good, mate. You're there most weeks anyway. But Sava, what you saying, bruv?
Yeah, I feel like your intro was aimed at me. Yeah, can't wait for the season to be finished, man. What is it, 48 hours? Just a little bit over 48 hours to go. So, yeah, looking forward to all the world-class signings that are coming in at Spurs. See Zidane come and take us over. You know, it's all going to be good, man. It's all good.
I was optimistic, mate. That's more optimistic than some Spurs fans, bro. I'll tell you that now. Let's start with you boys, because obviously you're going into this last game having something to play for, should you wish to accept it as something to play for. But there's more rumours and drama off the pitch with Tottenham, as there always seems to be as far as Levy and Enoch are concerned, mate. And I know we spoke on your channel about Arne Slot and Julian Nagelsmann and the links with Brendan Rodgers of late, and it was just all a bit of a mess. There was no real rumour or understanding. But it does seem at the moment like nobody wants the job, Sava. I'm not saying that as a gooner and laughing it off, but it don't seem like it's a very welcoming place to come and manage at the moment at Tottenham Hotspur, Sava, does it?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's the same as anything. Look, lots of media speculation. 50% of the media will tell you that these managers have actually been offered the job, the likes of Nagelsmann and Slot. These people are saying that they haven't been offered the job. There's just been sort of early kind of stages of conversations. But look, I'll chuck it to you like this, right? And you know me, Dan. I'd like to think I'm a very level-headed, down-to-earth Spurs fan, right? I look at it and there's managers that are thrown at Spurs. Like people are saying, oh, Postecoglou and Potter and Rodgers, and fans are going, oh, they're dreadful managers. Dreadful managers. We need this manager. And I'm like, we're not good. Like we're not a top team. We're a team that's about to finish 8th or 9th in the league. We've got no manager right now, no director of football, nothing coming through the academy. And if you take Harry Kane out, I'm going to say it, and no offense, Joe, you take Harry Kane out of this team, we are down where Leeds and Everton are. We are not a good team. And our fans have got these delusions of grandeur because we made a Champions League final about 4 or 5 years ago. And look, I just don't know what's the. I said to someone this morning, right? I feel like there might be this great big managers WhatsApp group somewhere in the world, right? Where all these managers are in it and they put in there and go, oh, guys, I've just been offered the job at Spurs. And other managers are going, no, you don't want that. Levy's this and that, the other. And they're all going, oh, yeah, I won't join. But it's just a mess. The whole thing is a mess. There's no reason to join Tottenham Hotspur. And yeah, we're a mess.
Yeah, it is a mess, man. I can't lie. Joe, as a Leeds fan, obviously you've been worrying about things down the bottom for most of the season. But when you look at Tottenham, I would go as far to say as, along with Chelsea, they've been a shambles this season. In terms of the expectation at the start, I really had Tottenham in the top 4 after finishing in the top 4 under Conte.
Well, they won the transfer window as well, didn't they? You know
transfer window, they won that apparently. So when they were touting third, I thought, you know what, they probably will. Conte's good enough. They've got a wicked striker who, by the way, has been outstanding this season in Harry Kane, and no one's mentioned him. But when you look at it, you know, you've got them on the last day of the season. It might not matter even if you do beat them 3-0 because you're relying on the other clubs. But just concentrating on Tottenham before we touch on Leeds, Joe, where do you see them going as a football club, mate?
Yeah, no, I've spoken about this week, obviously, on my channel with us playing Spurs. I think for me, Tottenham's time at the top's done. And what I mean by that is chasing top 4. You know, I think there has to be a little bit of realism about, because for me, you know, there's too many clubs ahead of them now. I don't see them unless they get this manager appointment, you know, amazingly right, and they buy a shed loads of players. I was reading this week, mate, that that they're on about giving Eric Dyer a new deal, which is just absolutely mental for me anyway, from the outside looking in. And I just think with the re-emergence of yourselves, Chelsea will come good, I believe, at some point. Liverpool, obviously, they're going to be back in it. You've then got to throw Newcastle and Villa in for me. So I think Spurs will struggle now over the next couple of seasons. They had their time, as Saba put it, getting to the Champions League final, etc. I think it happens to some football clubs. Dan, will you sort your shit out, man? What are you doing?
Sorry, mate. Sorry, John. My phone heard Leeds was going down, so it's followed suit.
Mate, man, you kill me off, man. Coming all dressed up in your shirt and that. Look, hey, he's off again.
Your camera's going up and down more times than Leeds do.
Yeah, there you go. Then.
Sava, that's a cheap shot. Cheap shot. No, listen.
Sorry,
I'm with Joe. I don't know where Tottenham go from here. Me and Sava speak quite a lot on his channel and my channel about this, right? Tottenham have decided to try to copy Arsenal in Arsenal's worst 10, 15 years that I can remember. They've gone to the stadium just like we did. They're trying to pay off the debt. The only thing they're doing that we haven't done is they're trying to turn it into a tourist attraction. They're more interested in AJ fights or Beyonce concerts or the F1 track, whereas Arsenal weren't. We were actually trying to do some form of success with the football club. I don't see that happening at Tottenham. I honestly think if Enoch and Levy stay, I don't see Tottenham competing. I don't think you can get it that wrong 4 or 5 times. Like, they've had everything. They've had Poch. They wanted a project manager. They didn't want to back him, give him any money. They got rid of him. They brought in Jose Mourinho, who is unbelievable CV. Didn't really want to look to do the right thing with him. Then they go and get Nuno. What a stupid decision that was, right? That was never going to work, right?
Oh,
then they go and
got manager of the month.
Hey, you got manager of the month. There we go.
Yeah, put some respect on his name.
And then you go to Conte, and I thought, I'm a bit worried about that one. That's the one that worries me. He wins everything. Like, he literally does. So you've had Mourinho and Conte that have gone everywhere, right? And they've won something with every single club other than Tottenham. There's a common denominator there. And Levy has done some very good things for Tottenham, and I think Sava would probably agree that he has. But it's always, what now? What is it next? You've got to that final of the Champions League. You've got your stadium. You've got your great training facility. You got into a title challenge against Leicester. What now? He's never gone that next step. He's just been happy to settle for top 4, in my opinion, Levy. And, I don't think you're going to be able to get any form of ambition moving forward. Kane looks like he wants to get out of there. He's been chained to a radiator for about 3 seasons now. So you just got to let him go, man. You've just got to let this guy go and try and build again, Savage. You know what I mean? And I said to you, I don't know why you don't try to just go, right, is that Burnley? Burnley? You could go and get company, surely. Surely you could go and get company.
I'd love company. I said we're at the stage now where I think Spurs fans need to firmly remove their head from their backsides and realise where we are in the pecking order of things. I think we're in desperate need for a young, hungry manager that likes to play pressing, forward-thinking football. And yeah, that means that you're going to have a couple of years of pain. But we're already having years of pain just with better managers and worse players. So I'd rather rip the whole thing up, get rid of all the old guard. I don't care if Kane goes, Son goes, Lloris goes, Højbjerg, get rid of all these players, getting lots of young talent from across Europe. And as a chairman, Levy to come out and say, this is our plan, so that fans understand what the plan is. Don't expect Champions League in year 1, maybe not even in year 2. We're going to build a team. We're going to get a director of football in that's actually got an ethos, a strategy, and is aligned with the manager that's coming in to play football, that's coming in to manage the club. And that when you buy players, one of the big things last year, all I ever heard was, oh, this isn't a Conte player. Or before that, it was, they're not a Jose player. I want it to be, are they a Tottenham player? But for that to happen, the club's got to have an identity. And at the moment, there's just a mishmash of really, really old players, really, really young players. None of them can run to save their lives. It's all very, very lethargic. And look, I think it's got to get a lot worse before it gets a lot better. And Tottenham fans, unfortunately, talk like we're a big club. So There is one thing. We are bigger than Palace, though, so that's always a
What on earth did I just walk into? Why can't I never relax? Like every time I go into a show, there's always like. Let me just have a sip of water before you start on me, Sava. You support Tottenham Hotspur. Like let's get one thing straight. You're the biggest, apart from Leeds. You are the biggest shambles here. You are the most irrelevant top 6 club. You are the most irrelevant
Calm down, man. Calm down, Crystal Palace.
I
Man.
know, look at you. They've won about 4 games under Roy Hodgson, and you're coming in here and attacking teams. Unbelievable, team.
Joe, we'll organise a Huddersfield fan for you, yeah? We'll organise
Soon, mate, soon. I'm enjoying it while I'm here.
Look, I came here relaxed. I just wanted to have a normal football chat, and all that. I'm getting attacked. It hasn't even been 1 minute yet.
Little Dan hasn't even had a chat with you yet. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Little Dan's not. He's been calm. He's been quiet. He's not had. He's not had anything to say.
You look professional today. You look nice.
Man, he's done
you
up.
look fresh. Sun's out.
You know, I've got a prefect interview.
Oh, what for the Wolves job? You see, like Lopetegui's going. You're black for the Wolves job.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's not having it. He's not biting, is he?
Lopetegui's staying, man.
I'm bored of going at D now because it's boring now, isn't it? Like, how many times can you talk bad about Palace? They're a nothing club. It's mad.
I just walked in, bro. I don't get this. Go on, boss. You might as well attack me as well. You're left. Go on. You say something about Palace as well.
Listen, I'm calm with Palace. Like, you know, if you're gonna get that upset about losing to the PSV under 21s, then you mean nothing.
Don't talk about that. I don't know why I'm talking about PSV. I don't want to talk about PSV, but it doesn't change the fact that.
Now, Dan, can I jump in a quick second? Let's go back to Tottenham. Let's get a bit serious for a minute. Do you know Tottenham, Sava? They've got to keep Kane, haven't they? For me, if they don't get back into sort of Europe next season, they're going to go back to the 90s when they've got managers like Jerry Francis and Christian Gross managing you. You're going to fall that far away if you don't get Europe next season. It's all right getting money in for Kane, but if you don't replace Kane correctly, you're not getting back into Europe, are you?
I think, look, there's 2 ways of looking at this, right? First of all, I just want to point out the 90s always gets thrown at Spurs. That was the last decade where we won 2 trophies in a decade. And I saw players like Sheringham, Klinsmann. I saw Ginola, top players in the 90s. On a serious note, look, this is the big thing with Spurs fans at the moment, Dan, right? Is half the fan base really want to beat Leeds on Sunday to secure Conference League football. The other half, in which I'm in, I don't want to win. And I know that sounds awful. You should never say about a club. I don't want European football. It's not that it's conference. It's that we don't even have an 11, Dan, to put out. We have a shambolic. Everything at the club is shambolic. I feel we need a year out to actually build a team, to build something at the club with the new manager, the new technical director, where they're actually on the training ground more than they are flying around to play Karabag and clubs like that across Europe. As far as Kane staying, look, it's difficult. If Spurs fans see this, they'll absolutely rip me to pieces. But if the guy chooses to sign another contract, he's got absolutely no ambition as a footballer. Yeah. No ambition as a player. He is one of the world's best free strikers and has been for nearly a decade now, right? Him, Benzema and Lewandowski. Obviously now Haaland's come into play. He gets 30-odd goals every season in all competitions. He's England captain. He's almost turned into one of the best passers of a ball in the Premier League now as well. Look, Dan, if he turns around this summer, they'll have the conversation with him. And if he says, look, I have no intention of staying beyond my last year, Spurs have to sell him. You've got to sell him. You've got to get 80, 90, 100 million, whatever you can for the guy with 1 year left. And
do you trust the recruitment to replace him, though?
No, of course not. But Dan, we won't replace Kane like that.
No, that's true.
Right?
You can't replace him.
There are 3 or 4 Harry Kanes in the world, and I just named them. As far as I'm aware, Lewandowski's not going to leave Barcelona to come to Tottenham. Benzema's not going to leave Real Madrid to come to Tottenham. Harry Kane's already with us, and Erling Haaland, I'm pretty sure, doesn't fancy a move down to North London. So when Kane goes, it's a case of you're not getting a striker to replace him. I think you've then got to find a system that allows goals from everywhere rather than focusing on Harry Kane. That's just my opinion on it.
Listen, it's an interesting one for me because I think there's a lot of Spurs fans deep down would want to keep Kane and understand why. But sometimes you've just got to move forward. I never wanted to lose Thierry Henry, but the season after he left, we almost won the league. Do you know what I mean? Because we replaced, it wasn't that focal point anymore. It was like the team coming together. We had the Van Persies and Fabregases coming through. We had the Rizikis and the Chlebs, and all of a sudden we were looking like a proper team again for the first time. So sometimes you just got to say bye to that, say thank you to it and move forward. But I don't know, man. I just see Tottenham.
What are we suggesting? If they get rid of Kane, they're winning the league. Or the Championship or the Prem? What are we talking
They
about?
ain't doing that, man.
I reckon we'll win.
What I was
reckon
meaning was there's a bit of a difference.
I reckon we'll finish
Go on,
top
sorry.
of the bottom half next year, so we'll win that little mini league.
You
Palace in
haven't got
second.
Henry yet, Sava. No. Well, you can have Roy Hodgson. He said that he's...
Hey, he's kept you up, D. Calm down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could have Roy Hodgson. We wanted Nuno, and then we rejected Nuno, and he ended up at Tottenham. So, I mean, Roy Hodgson could...
He's turned all your players into £70 million players, D. So you've got to give him some credit for that, ain't he?
So exactly. So some of these players that you're sleeping on, maybe they need a bit of Roy Hodgson. Maybe that's what they need in their life. And then
He was still messaging about Gehi, saying that Gehi's like wants to leave, and it's going to be 60 million plus. I mean, like, wow, this is serious. This player, I mean, he must be Maldini. This Mark Gehi, he must be.
Well, he must be Maldini or better than Wesley Fofana or Harry Maguire. So it depends on how you look at it. I mean, I'll say this: Arsenal got very lucky with Ben White. I think that's what you can't go over.
What do you mean?
Very lucky. With
What do you mean you got very? Wait. Why did they get lucky?
Because Ben White's price was very cheap when you look at the current market and when you look at even players
50 million?
50 million, mate.
Yeah,
they got
it was.
absolutely
Those sort
battered
of
for it.
transfers is what led the market to where it's got to now.
No, but what was that? What was that?
Those sort of transfers, £50 million for Ben White, is what's led the market to be where it's at now.
Nah, I think Maguire.
If you're talking about Mark Gay for like £80 million, you can't say Ben White hasn't led to that.
No, I think the funny enough, I think it's the worst players that's led to the market being like this. If people are saying Wesley Fofana goes for £70 million or Harry Maguire goes for £8 million,
But
why shouldn't a quality player go for much more?
I know there's a lot being said about Fofana of late, but that he was very, very highly regarded, man. I don't think that's wild for him. Mark Guehi.
So you guys don't watch Mark Gahey, that's it.
No, mate, I do rate him, but I'm not sure he had the potential of a Fofana, if you like, you know, of how he was regarded.
Come on,
sure.
he doesn't have the potential of Fofana. He's better than a Fofana. That's Fofana.
Based on what is he better than Fofana? Fofana's been, let's be fair,
He's England international and he's better on the ball. He's a great defender on and off the ball. His position is great. He's a lead. Like,
how much did you pay for him for Chelsea? Was it Chelsea?
20 million.
£80 million.
Right,
18. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, and people have to realize what happened with Zaha. He's still at Palace. He's going to be out of contract now. But all these clubs were after Zaha all these years, and we didn't nudge. We didn't say we're going to sell him for cheaper. We have our price, and I think our price will be at least 6 million plus, at least.
I don't disagree that Palace might. I don't disagree that Palace might go with Raya if you want him. He's 60 million. I don't disagree that might happen, but you will get to a stage where players will just become so unhappy in the end, and they'll just
but we're not Brighton.
Force moves.
We're not Brighton.
You wish you were Brighton. You wish you
mean?
No.
They're not Brighton. What are Palace, right?
No.
Palace are nothing, aren't they? They're like a semi-pro team that have had a good run.
Coming from a Tottenham fan. They're literally the smallest club in North London, one of the smallest clubs in London, whilst having an amazing stadium. The highlight of Tottenham this season has been that you got go-karts underneath. Maybe Harry Kane was.
Let me tell you something, right? Don't mistake my harsh honesty about Tottenham Hotspur, for my club being anywhere near as bad or as irrelevant or as small as your club, right? When did you last? What have you ever done? Have you ever done anything?
Yeah, we have.
Like what?
That's it. Here we have.
When you had Jeff Thomas, Mark Bright, and Ian Wright, and you weren't even born. Is that how far back we're going for Palace to be relevant?
We're talking about the 80s, 90s when Tottenham won 2 trophies allegedly. I haven't seen.
What do you mean allegedly? What? Yeah, sorry, allegedly. What do you mean? What do you mean allegedly? You're not that young. Yeah. What do you mean? Spurs didn't win. Yeah, we didn't win anything in the 90s. You're right. I made it up. Just making it up, hoping everyone. Yeah. You're right.
I can't remember Spurs. Spurs are known for being.
Do you know what though, D? Do you know when you said you're not like Brighton? What I'll say for Brighton are shrewd operators, right? Okay, Brighton. Just one sec. Brighton could have sold Ben White to Leeds for 30 million, and they said no. They were going no. You've got to pay, and then. They held on to him. The following summer, they sell him for 50. They could have also moved Caicedo on in January. They said to Arsenal not to cut in L's chance, and then boom, what will Caicedo go for this summer? So they're no mugs when it comes to this transfer game. Brighton, they know what they're doing.
They're not. But Brighton have better recruitment than Palace based on what they've done. But the reason why I said we're not Brighton is because with Brighton, they're having their most successful season in their history, and despite that, you're hearing Caicedo. No Palace player has ever come to Twitter, put out a statement saying, I want to leave the club. Or even right now, despite them qualifying for Europe.
That's because they're at their level.
What was that?
You heard? That's because your players are at your level.
I mean, no, then they can 100. Elise could easily be a higher level than Palace. And Mark Gahey can be higher level than Palace. I agree.
Yeah, exactly. It's just too funny. It's too funny, man.
All right.
So you know what? Palace have actually...
So look, my point about Brighton is, look, they've got McAllister who wants out. They've got Caicedo who wants out. And with Palace, we haven't really had any of that. We haven't had Elise. It's the total opposite. Eze has come out publicly and said, I'm focused on my football. I don't care about Liverpool links. I actually enjoy playing at Palace and I'm improving by a game. Whereas
he will care when a bid is slapped in, though. That's the difference. Caicedo at Brighton, Arsenal slapped in a bid on the table. Yeah, McAllister, Liverpool have slapped down a bid. It's all well and good if I play for a club going, you know what? I'm really happy. Of course I'm happy. No one's bid for me. All of a sudden, next week, if Man City bid for me, I'm not going to go, you know what? I don't fancy Man City. I'm going to stay at Crystal Palace and play in South London in the worst stadium in the league. That's not going to happen, mate.
Worst stadium in the league. You got a great stadium, but you got nothing to go to the stadium. Your football is absolute shambles. It's literally one of the worst I've witnessed in the league. I'm not even saying this right now because you're saying all of this about Palace. Genuinely, I hate facing Tottenham because it's one of the most boring games there is.
I know. I found it boring when we beat you 4-0 at your ground as well.
You get lucky every single time against Palace.
Lucky 4-0.
I don't understand it.
A lucky 4-0. It was close. It was really close.
In the second half, we crumbled. Oh, that was Patrick Vieira tax, by the way. You have to blame another North London legend.
You're out of order to Patrick Vieira. Leave him alone, man.
Yeah, exactly. But look, with Palace, we haven't had that. We haven't had those moments about players wanting to leave. So I think that's where Palace are different to Brighton. But as I've said, that might change. But as of right now, if players are happy at Palace they want to sign new deals, then it shouldn't really be a problem. I mean,
can I ask, like, little Dan, let's just say, like, someone comes in for Max Kilman, right? Someone wants Kilman, a player we've mentioned on the stream the other night, talking about how good he's been for you, right? Underrated. Are you of the opinion, like D, that it's going to be like 80 million to get this guy out of the club? Like, I can't understand
this. It's not worth 80 million, though. Oh, jeez. You lot are doing this on purpose now. How Max Kilman is not worth 80 million pounds? Mark Gahey, you can have the argument.
But you haven't seen him for Wolves. How good he's been, though. You just said.
Why is Gahey worth that and Kilman isn't?
No, I don't agree with this.
Gahey's younger than Kilman. Gahey's a better player than Kilman. So that's why. And Gahey's more rated by the.
You don't watch Max Kilman, mate. You don't watch Max Kilman, D, clearly.
I do watch Max Kilman. I think Max Kilman's a good player, but at times he can be overrated as well. So
go on. Little Dan, go on.
Hello? Can I get D some help, please? yeah, ambulance, yeah. He's lost his mind. He needs sectioning right now. Yeah, play for East London.
Mate, you look like you're ready for the NHS job. You got a shirt on, everything, so you can help.
You know what? The funniest thing is, since I've come on the laptop, my flipping blinds behind me are as dusty as your trophy cabinet.
Oh wow! What? That's great. Mate, you know what? That's great. You can talk about a trophy cabinet all you like. But in recent times, we went to FA Cup final.
Max Kilman, probably 40 million. 40 million for Max Kilman.
Yeah, that's realistic.
Mark Gray.
Yeah.
Palace might sort of, what's the word? Sort of hard bargain teams for Mark Gay. He has got a lot of pedigree. I don't think there's much between Kilman and Gay myself. But yeah, if D thinks Palace can justify that sort of fee, then good luck to him. I don't believe there's much between Kilman and Gay myself.
No, I must admit, I like Gehi a lot. And this isn't me saying that I don't rate these players, and neither of them are worth that much money in terms of actually being, I'm not naive enough to think that maybe Liverpool or Arsenal can't walk up to Kilman and Gay and go, right, there's 15 million, come and play for us. But at the same time, I think offering 80 and 90 million for defenders like this, we've seen this with Maguire and all this.
Okay, Potts, the whole point is you don't want to sell your best players, right?
No, I get that.
Has Gehi reached his full potential?
No.
Gehi reached his full potential? Okay.
How do you know?
He's quality right now. He's an England international.
Well, no, we believe.
Right now,
We believe. We don't know it, to be fair.
He's still young.
How old is he?
Yeah.
How old is he, Gay?
He's like 22.
He's 22, isn't he?
22.
Yeah, 20. Yeah. I can find, 22. He's still 22. England international at 22 was highly rated at Chelsea before he left as well. We know that Gehi's going to improve. Gehi, as I said last time we was on here, he could be England captain. That would have surprised me at all in the future. And that hasn't happened.
No. You're hyping him
I'm
up
telling you
massively.
one thing. Patrick Bamford ain't England captain. I'll tell you one thing, Joe.
What's that? Where's that come from? Mate, you have just made the most wildest claim ever that Mark Guehi will be
England captain.
No, he won't be.
Above Declan Rice?
Yeah, no. Jude Bellingham, all these
England
players, right?
England under 21. Who was England under 21 captain?
Bro, there's some under 21 players that don't ever make it to the first team. What's that got to do with the price of fee?
He's made it, bro.
Mate, he's had 3.
England before.
He's played 3 games.
Yeah, he's played 3 games.
Right,
I'm not saying he's going to be captain.
Right, so when's he going to be captain? We'll have a bet now. When you've got Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, for starters.
I think, Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham. By the way, Gehi's a better captain than Bellingham. I'll say that. I think he'll be a better captain than Bellingham.
But okay, can I?
This is irrelevant, right? Mark Guehi goes for about 35, 40 million. Facts.
How much?
35, 40 million.
And that's okay. I'm not going to even guess. I'm not going to even respond.
I'd like to apologise though. I'd like to apologise, D. To be fair, I have just gone on to Wikipedia to look at Crystal Palace.
No, don't do it.
When I got down to your honours section, it took a long time to read all of the things you've won in like League One and Championship and things like that. So apologies, you've won a lot of trophies.
I can't have a Tottenham fan talking to me about trophies, please.
You do know we were the first.
Tottenham.
Dude, we were the first English club to win a European trophy, right? We've won 8 FA Cups to your 2 runner-ups. Right, we've won however many League Cups to your.
You're meant to be a top 6 England club. Palace. I never said Palace are top 6. I'm just talking about individuals, how much they're worth to Palace. But you're Tottenham fan. You're meant to be one of the biggest clubs in the whole country.
We're the 6th biggest club, if that.
What have you won?
We're the 6th biggest club. We're not as good as the teams above us. We're not as good. But the difference is, I understand where my team sits in the pyramid. You're sitting out here going, right, as far as I've heard from you in the last week, D, and I love you to bits, you know I do, D. But so far, what I've heard from you this week is Guehi's worth about 80 million. Elise's 80 million. Eze's 80 million. Guehi's the next England captain. Roy Hodgson should get manager of the year. Your goalkeeper's probably 100 million. Mitchell's probably 70 million.
I never said Roy manager of the year. I never said Roy manager of the year. Roy's done a fantastic job.
I'm surprised.
I think Roy's massively underrated by neutrals, by the way, because he still doesn't get the credit. People laugh. People say Roy this and that, but Roy's been a very solid manager for Palace, and what he's done is criminally underrated. People talk about easy.
So manager of the year.
Why?
No, not manager of the year, but manager of the month, 100%.
Who is?
Roy Hodgson. He should be in the conversation. Yeah, he should be in the conversation.
LD. Oh my
I love D so much.
It is crazy, isn't he?
Why can't he be nominated for manager of the month?
I still can't work out whether D's a character or not. It blows my mind.
Wait,
I don't understand whether he's
manager of the month.
Blind faith to Palace, or do you honestly believe everything that comes out your mouth? Really? I like a troll,
Why
Dave.
can't Roy
I like to
Hodgson?
troll. But you, my guy.
I'm not even trolling, I swear to God. I'm being steady serious. Why can't
Dan?
Roy be involved in a manager of the month conversation? Under Patrick Vieira, which everyone was twerking for, we didn't win a game for 3 months. Roy's come in and we've stayed up comfortably and we had a very good month. I mean, Joe would know how good of a month we had. We smoked Leeds 5-1. Why on earth can we not be nominated for manager of the month? Why?
Wasn't that a different month?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was last month. We're in May, B. We're in May, bro.
We still
Pep
had a
Guardiola.
decent month.
You got Pep
We've still had a
Guardiola,
decent
Eddie
month.
Howe, De Zerbi, all these managers that have just achieved something. They're not going to look at
Oh,
Roy Hodgson.
but you're talking about I don't know.
I'm
Brighton
talking about last
Talk about
Brighton
recent.
lost 5-1. Brighton lost 5-1 to Everton. But you guys want to ignore that because they achieved Europa League football.
They just got European football, bro.
Okay, give it to Emery then. Okay, they got Europa League football and we just stayed up.
He hates it, doesn't he?
Roy
He
picked
hates
us
it
up.
that Brighton are in Europe. He can't stand it.
I don't
Can I
care
just
about
ask?
Brighton being in Europe.
Joe and Dan, have you guys ever been down to Selhurst Park?
I haven't,
Yes.
not
Yeah.
Sellers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wonderful.
Yeah,
they've got a
and
Sains.
there's
They've got a
reason why I don't go
Sainsbury's.
every season.
They've got a Sainsbury's like in the stadium. It's fantastic, man. They're great.
What have you
club.
got in your stadium? I can't lie. I can't
What have we got in our stadium? Are you
Arsenal.
kidding me? We've got Formula One tracks underneath, mate. What do you want?
You got everything but trophies. That's right. You got everything but trophies.
Listen,
The actual aim of football. That's
Listen, we got
How you not saying
Beyonce in there in a couple of weeks' time doing her thing.
I'm
You
going
leave
there,
us
I'm going there
alone.
for a concert soon as well. I'm going there not for Beyonce. I'm going for another concert, literally in July. But one thing that Tottenham do have, they have a fancy stadium, but everything apart from
Honestly,
that, it doesn't add up. Whereas Palace, he adds up. Our stadium ain't great, but we haven't got trophies anyway, so he adds up.
I
to
tell you what, though,
whereas we
Palace
got-
away days a laugh, and it's good atmosphere there, but it's bloody hard to see anything. Like the away crowd is just impossible
It's
to see
not meant
anything.
to be nice. Is it meant to be nice?
Well, obviously not.
Yeah,
'Cause it isn't.
exactly. And
Let's
majority
move.
of the time it works.
Is like the football equivalent of like what are you going to see? There's nothing ever happens there. No trophies get won there ever. The whole thing about this is
generic club. I don't know if people
go on the
I don't know if
goal
people
that
understand
they
when it
put
comes from this.
microphones
Wolves-
back and sound louder.
No,
Here we go. He's going to have a
the
pop
best-
at
Wolves.
Wolves
What do you
now.
mean,
Leah,
Wolves?
D's going to have a pop at Wolves now. Go on, D.
No, it's not even a pop at Wolves, but they're literally a generic club. I don't know how to describe Wolves. There's nothing about Wolves. You have fire. You have fire bursting before the game starts. Are we playing FIFA? Are we playing is it real life? You have fires bursting before the game starts.
Yo,
Like,
D. You once upon a time used to have cheerleaders, bro.
We still have cheerleaders.
Oh, well, there you
We
go.
still have
then.
cheerleaders.
You still
Yeah,
got
we
the
still have
cheerleaders.
We still have cheerleaders, but that is halftime entertainment. One earth are you having fun?
Hang on. And you were just having a pop about we've got Beyonce. At least we've got Beyonce. You've got some chicks from South London
No,
who
but hold
are
on. Let's
putting
go
on
to
pom poms.
Wolves. Let's go to Wolves. Why
Let's go to Wolves.
do fires coming out of the stadium when the football's absolutely garbage? It's anything but fire on the pitch. That's what it is. So it doesn't
We've
add up.
literally
At least have
had
cheerleaders.
probably our worst season since we got promoted, and we've only finished a handful of points behind you. Our
Okay,
worst
but
season.
you
Before the
and
World Cup,
Lawless,
we were on
bro,
10 points.
No.
10 points.
You and
we've still
Lawless,
caught
you and
up.
Lawless would no. You being quiet, little Dan. I know your tactics. You've been quiet the past few weeks because you understand you're in the mud as well. You said that Wolves were going to finish above Palace. I'll bring up the receipts. Don't worry about that. Same with Lawless. But you've been quiet because I know why you've been quiet, because you realize that you made a big mistake going against Roy. You have. And now it's time for you to apologize.
Can
You wanna
I?
apologize
Sorry,
here?
I've literally, with the power of the internet that I have over here, I'm looking at Crystal Palace's league finishes since 1990.
We're moving on from Palace. Why are we talking about Palace?
Hang on, because listen, you run your mouth a lot, so we're just gonna have a look. I just looked, and have a guess, guys, on the panel. How many times since 1990, actually? So Palace finished third in
Don't forget
19.
that.
Hang on.
That's their biggest honour on their Wikipedia page, that third place finish.
Palace
Don't forget
finished
that.
third in 1991. So that was the year that Spurs won the FA Cup, right?
Yeah.
Since then, in the
Legendary.
Premier League, what do you think their highest finish is?
Ninth.
Ninth.
Ninth. Yeah?
Go on.
They have not finished in the top half once in the Premier League.
No
What
way.
and you want to come and attack me for my club? You are listen. I'm going to turn into a teenager.
I'm not attacking
You're
you.
in
This is
the
not
mud.
This is not Palace versus Tottenham. This is just Tottenham in their own.
You
You
made it that way.
A big club. The only reason why Tottenham Hotspur are relevant till this day is because of their rivals Arsenal. That's embarrassing.
Do you know what? How old are you, D? How old are you?
I'm 23.
All right, it shows because let me just give you a little bit of a history lesson, my friend. And this is the beauty of being a little bit older than you, right? Is I'm a very honest Spurs fan. I think everyone can see that. And I don't pretend we're something we're not. But before the money came into the Premier League, before the Abramoviches, before all these people came in, before Jack Walker, look him up if you don't know who that is. He was the guy at Blackburn. Before all these people started pumping money in, Spurs, at that point, before the Premier League started, we were the record holders for the number of FA Cup wins, right? We were the first team to...
FA Cups? I thought you were going to say league titles or something. FA Cups? Is that it?
See, this is where you don't know your history. The FA Cup used to be the biggest competition in the world.
I always say this, but apparently it's not now. Everyone just
but the kids don't understand it, Dan, right? The Spurs were the first team to win a European trophy. And they've never won it. Exactly.
No, the reason why I'm laughing, no, you guys don't understand where I'm coming from. I'm not comparing Palace to Tottenham. I'm talking about Tottenham being this so-called big club. Then, like, if you compare them to other big clubs, I don't say Palace are a big club.
Yeah, Saba, you never do, but there are Tottenham fans that do.
Tottenham got a better stadium than Palace. Of course, they got better history. They've allegedly won trophies that I've never seen before in my lifetime. But
what do you mean?
They have.
Hang on, stop.
Black and white photos.
This word you keep using, allegedly, right? You can't just because you don't know it doesn't mean it's not real,
no,
right?
I mean, when you won trophies,
allegedly before I was born, this happened.
Allegedly, D. Allegedly is. I'll tell you what allegedly is. We've all been there, right, lads, where you've missed a night out with your mates. And it's funnily enough, that night that you're not out, your mate goes, oh my God, you should have seen a bird I pulled last night. And you go, well, it never happens when I'm out. That's allegedly. Allegedly isn't the fact that Spurs won the FA Cup in 1991 with Lineker.
I don't know.
What, in 1991? It was black and white.
Black and white photos. I haven't seen Tottenham win. Personally, in my lifetime, I haven't seen Tottenham win a trophy. Anyways, look, my point is, Saba, this is not Palace versus
You're
Tottenham.
23. When were you born?
2000.
Right. So in the year 2008, were you alive?
Oh yeah, okay,
you won
that.
Oh yeah, just saying.
But can we go back? Can we go back 1 minute? Just 1 minute, please, D. What are these trophies, D, that you'd never heard of that Tottenham had won?
What was that?
You said that Tottenham have won random trophies that no one's ever heard of.
No, I didn't say that.
You did.
Cup, to be fair. No, I
you
didn't say that.
You said something along the lines of random trophies, because if there's ever a random trophy, it's the Zenith Data Systems trophy.
Look, all right, then, let me take you back as a history lesson. Back in the day,
here we go.
The Zenith Data System trophy used to be one of the major trophies, just like the FA Cup. Yeah, you
just said the FA Cup was worthless a minute ago.
No, but back in the day, as Sam was saying, back in the day,
Dan,
Dan,
when we used to could you do me a favor, Dan? Can you bring that up?
What was that?
Can you bring that up? Yeah.
Yep. 1 second.
Right.
Okay.
1 second.
Can I
D,
land?
just so you know, no. It's all right. Just so you know, you see all of these honours. Not one of them appears on Crystal Palace's honours page. Not one of these honours. You see that? UEFA Cup winners, League Cup winners. Yeah.
In 1960, you're probably playing against my granddad. What does that matter? Football 1960s ain't the same.
D, you do realise, D, do you know what? I know what your age don't understand. History is very important in football, because without these things, these clubs wouldn't be where they are. But look at that European. Is that 3 European trophies we've won to Crystal Palace's 0? Is that 8 FA Cups
how you're
to
competing
your...
with Palace. This is amazing.
No.
Because you can't compete with the likes of City, Chelsea.
Of course we can't compete with City. They're owned by a country.
Potts,
No.
Potts, can you bring up the Palace version of this, please?
Please do. Dan, I'll get it for you.
Take this one down and let me know when it's ready, man.
Can I actually make my point? I haven't been able to make my point.
Go on, D.
This again
you
for
ain't
people
got
watching
one
as well. This is not Crystal Palace versus Tottenham. Of course, Tottenham won a cup.
Of course, it's not.
I'm joking about history. History does, of course, matter. But I'm just laughing at you, Sava. We're just having banter. It's all that. Look, of course, you have won it in the past. But my point is, I said this to Potts as well. For a very long time, Tottenham have been the most irrelevant top 6 club there is. There have been in terms of trophies. You haven't won trophies in recent years. The only trophy that you won in 2008 was a League Cup. Apart from that, what have Tottenham really won? That's my whole point. Now, don't compare this to Palace, because this is what you're doing. You're comparing it to Palace. Now, talk about the clubs that are on Tottenham's level, and then we can go on from there. But
okay, do you want to talk about Tottenham's level? D, I'm about to give you another football lesson, my friend. If you want to talk about Tottenham's level, and have a look at that and have a laugh, by the way, right? If you want to talk about Tottenham's level, you're putting us on a level with Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, United. I'm not. Spurs are on a level with Aston Villa, Everton. That's our level. They're the clubs we're competing with.
Okay.
Because we've had some seasons where we've got in the Champions League. Yeah. What should we have won realistically? No. We're not Arsenal. We're not City.
No. You can't do that. You should have won. You should have won trophies with the players that you've had in recent times as well. The Champions League final run. I'm not saying you should have won the Champions League, but you should have had at least an FA Cup somewhere. Like Tottenham have absolutely bottled it along the way for a big club to have. I mean, we've been to more. Let me not say this, but I'm pretty sure we've been to more FA Cup finals in recent times than you probably have. Or progress more in FA Cup than you have, because we went to FA Cup final.
We've won it 8 times. We've won it 8 times. How many times you won it?
But I'm talking about recent times. That's what I'm saying. We're not talking about. I'm talking about recent times.
Clutching at straws, Steve. Clutching at straws, bruv.
No, but look, I'm not here to compete with Tottenham. I'm not.
Then why do you keep bringing that up? Then we've been to this cup final. What have you been to?
The reason why I'm bringing it up is because even likes of Palace that can't finish in the top 10 have had a very good chance of winning trophies in comparison to Tottenham.
Are you kidding? Right. Do you know what? I can't.
Let's make this the last point, then we'll move.
I can't, Dave. Do you know what? If you want to talk about getting into finals, this is the problem with Spurs. We get into loads of semis and loads of finals. We just never get over the line. I hate to tell you, 4 years ago, we were in a Champions League final. Yeah,
that's it. We know that.
Yeah. 5 years ago, we were in the League Cup final. 6 years ago, we were also in the League Cup final. Yeah. We've got to finals. Getting to finals hasn't been our problem.
Energy drinks is where you're at. You can't go to FA Cups. You have to go to the low. So the thing that you're telling me is you go to the lowest ranked trophy, the Carabao Cup, or back then is.
Sorry, Dan already put you in your place with the Zenith Data trophy. If we're going to talk about
hold up. Forget about that. So you're telling me you, as a big club, look at this massive Tottenham. They won European Cups allegedly, and all these other trophies. Allegedly. But you're telling me you went to a League Cup final and you still haven't won it as a big club? That's shambolic. I'll be embarrassed if I'm a Tottenham fan.
It was the last trophy we've won, you numpty.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
2008. Come on, man.
Dan, move on.
I'm
not. You're not paying me enough to educate this guy.
No. I'm moving, man. I'm moving.
Why are we talking about Palace, anyways?
I know why we talk about Palace. Let's come to Joe and Sava, because obviously the game Leeds Spurs is one that should be big for both. Joe, let me come to you, man. Like, as far as Leeds are concerned, you said to me earlier that you're kind of resigned to it now. You think you're going down. Yeah. So that you can let everyone know, because I'm confused, I'm sure everybody else is. What needs to happen for Leeds to stay up this weekend?
We need to win our game and hope that Everton lose, Leicester lose, or Everton lose and Leicester draw. Anything outside of that, we go down. There is a few goal difference swings, but it's too big in terms of with Leicester. I think they've got about 8 goals on us. But first and foremost, we've got to win our game of football, and every Spurs fan thinks we're going to steamroll them, but I just don't think we have it. I think we'll play well for the first 20 minutes, and then that'll be us.
And you've got so Leicester have got West Ham, Everton have got Bournemouth. If Everton get a point, Leeds are down. Is that right?
Yeah. We need Everton to lose. Yeah.
So Everton have got to lose. Right.
Yeah.
That's going to be
which
hard,
I don't think they will, bro. Although, to be fair, coming out now, there's no Dominic Calvert-Lewin, there's no Mikalenko, there's quite a few injuries at Everton, to be
Patterson
fair.
as well, they're right back.
Yeah. Listen, it'd look totally different if we'd have got something against West Ham last week, but we just rolled over, man. Played well for 20 minutes and rolled over.
Joe, have you been surprised? Because I was thinking about it. It's not that you're going down, because there was always that chance when Big Sam came in. But Big Sam is a manager that I've seen at Palace that makes you solid defensively. Have you actually been surprised by the lack of maybe clean sheets or the amount of goals that you've been conceding under Big Sam? Because I never expected Leeds to end up scoring goals under Big Sam, but I expected you guys to be a bit better defensively. I know the City game was decent. You only conceded about 2 goals, but we had some interesting results along the way as well. I mean, the West Ham won 3-1. Newcastle conceded 2 goals at home.
Penalties, though. Penalties. Both of them.
So when did Big Sam actually join? Like what day?
So Big Sam, this is the thing. So Big Sam
City,
came
right?
in and first game was City. They'd scored 3 goals in every game at home. Last team to do that was against Newcastle. So
7 goals in 3 games under Big Sam. Yeah. I think that's if he kept if he kept the 2 clean sheets, but it's hard, I guess.
But it's not him though. This is what I'm saying. He's playing Manchester City, right? We did well to limit them to 2. Yeah. Newcastle, we gave away 2 stupid penalties. They didn't really create much outside of that. And West Ham, we just rolled over, mate. And to be fair, the weakest area of Leeds United's team's the defence. It hasn't been.
But that's why you bring in Big Sam, though, for that defence, even though it's weak. We didn't have great defenders, I'll be honest. Yeah. We had some solid players, defenders, but we didn't have great defenders. I think Big Sam is meant to make you solid as a team.
Who did you have at the back, Who did you have at the back?
Probably Scott Dan, around them times. Depends. I think Saka came in after from Liverpool. But I think as a team, we were solid defensively, and then we hit them on counter-attack.
Man.
You can ignore the first 2 games. Ignore the first 2 games against Newcastle, Man City, tough opponents. He just come in. But against West Ham, that's ideally when you expect a response defensively. And you should have just goals against them.
You should have just kept hold of Marcelo Bielsa now, man. Like, all of this is just looking stupid. Like, you've got 3 managers in one season. Everybody likes Bielsa. They never wanted him to go. Like, you either go and get a manager that's different in terms of style, like Big Sam and earlier, not 4 games left, or you just back Bielsa with a couple of better defenders. Because how many of your defenders, seriously, Joe, look half decent? Not many, is there? Do you know what I mean?
Nah, they're all gash, man. We were all like gassing up Max Vober as well because he came in and looked so good. But then actually now, and now actually you're seeing him and you go, actually, he's not that good. It's just they were all so bad. Do you know what I mean? So
do you reckon confidence plays a part? Because I'm seeing that with Paris, for example, certain players. Whereas some of these defenders, they might have good technical abilities, but they're just low on confidence. And I wouldn't blame them because when you look at under Grazia, some of the results, even before Grazia, under Justin Marsh, I mean, defensively, you haven't been great all season long. And I think confidence plays a part.
We haven't been good defensively since, like, even during Bielsa's. Exactly. Like, that wasn't our strong point. We just scored goals. We dominated teams. But, you know, that squad had a shelf life. Bielsa said himself, it only works for 3 years, and then you need to churn the squad. And they didn't do that. You know, they didn't do that. And then Luke Ayling, you know, at the end of the game last weekend, when he was asked what went wrong, he went, every team that we used to come up against used to fear us for us fitness, used to fear us for us running. And he just went, we don't have it anymore. We don't have it in the legs. We tried to go again and we couldn't. So they're battered, man. They're battered. And that's from Luke Ayling, who's the captain. But a lot has to go on to Jesse for that because he came in and just went, oh, they were overtrained. You know, the sleeping pods that Marcelo Bielsa had built into the stadium, he turned into a media centre. This is a guy who loves the sound of his own voice. Do you know what I mean? So it came out that he was having a laugh and a joke with the media going, oh, yeah, people used to sleep in here and all that. Is it any wonder they've so shit? Because I used to say this to everyone. They're championship players. Players like Luke Ayling would have never made it to the Premier League. Never. He was playing at Yeovil, Bristol City, and then he came to Leeds under Gary Monk. Players like this would have never made it to the Premier League. Marcelo Bielsa, like Calvin Phillips. Calvin Phillips has just won a Premier League medal at City, regardless of how many, you know, performance. People were ready to sell him. He was playing as a 10. And Marcelo Bielsa, when he came in and went, right, you're there. And he were like, what, me? And then he went to play for England in that position. So, you know, Marcelo Bielsa, for me, is a genius for what he did to some of these players and where he got Leeds United. And they failed to back him.
And now, you know, we are where we are. You know, there's a lot of comparisons, and I know it might seem wild at this time, to Spurs in the terms of they had Pochettino. They had someone who had a certain style, a certain plan, and they just ripped it up and went for the total opposite. And Jesse Marsh was the total opposite, you know, and because we failed to back Bielsa, we just have the situation we find ourselves in now. So
I agree.
You overachieved with Bielsa, and I think people got the wrong idea of the squad. They thought maybe the players are better than they are. I think Bielsa, as you said,
we finished ninth. We finished ninth, right? We brought in Junior Firpo, who's arguably the worst left back in the league. We brought in who else did we bring in? We brought in Christopher Clarkson.
Yeah.
Christopher Clarkson, who's a third choice keeper. And there was one more. But basically we only bought 3 players that summer. And the club came out with this rhetoric that a lot of the players from last season were injured, so they'll be like new signings. Basically, they didn't want to spend any money. Robin Cox, rubbish. You know, all these players. Dan James. Man. Sorry, Dan James was the other one. And he is a woeful footballer. And we spent 25 million on him. He is woeful.
You spend money though. Even Rutter. But I don't get
but that's Victor Orta for you. The guy's off his tits. Instead of going out and putting the money down for Victor Gyökeres, who's at Coventry, who might be on his way to Wolves, we went and spent our record transfer fee on a player that's not getting any minutes. That Big Sam's come in and says he's not ready. So again, these are the clowns that are running the football club. And then now, I mean, it's all up in the air. Are we going to be taken over by the 49ers? Are we now going to be part of a trifecta of QSI, 49ers and Radrizzani, who's just out in Italy buying Sampdoria? They're saying it's going to be like the Pozzo Watford model. I want none of that shit. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, I just can't wait till it's over. The mad thing is, I can't wait for Monday that it's done. And I can say, right, we're now a championship club. Get rid of him. Bring in the new owners, bring in a new manager, director of football and players, and then we'll go again, you know? So
do you think, Joe, like, before I bring little Dan in, do you think, Joe, Patrick Bamford, I know it's a team game, but missing that penalty, missing that chance, I think it was against Leicester, you'd be safe now, man. You'd be safe.
I said this. You got back. I mean, he got a lot of abuse. We're talking to his family and all sorts.
Which is wrong.
Which I will say this as well, just on that. That would have never happened to him in the Championship. But when you come to the Premier League, there is a new type of fan that gets eyes on your football club. I don't know if it's the age that we live in, but I just think it was wild, some of the threats he was getting, because he was bad like that in the Championship and he never got that. I just think you get a wild type of fan. But yeah, I mean, it'll come down to moments. Not dropping Meslier when we should. Big Sam came in, dropped him, and Robles has looked good. And he's not a great goalkeeper, but we should have dropped Meslier before. And Big Sam had the balls to do that. So, and I said this at the time, the reason Bamford gets all the stick because your number 9's there to score goals, but ultimately Bamford's rubbish at that. He's good at everything else, right? Do you know what I mean? Although in his first season he scored like 17 goals when he came to the Premier League, which is great, but the moments, and because they're the most recent, if he scores the penalty versus Newcastle, we win that game. We're 2-0 up, we win the game. I think if he gets the late winner against Leicester, like you say, we're at the relegation zone now, but here's what it is, man. Like, yeah.
It's tough.
Started at Palace.
He did, bro. Yeah, nah.
I remember ahead of the Palace game, you're like, Gracias, this, that. I was thinking, like, is he the next
I shared that table with you, right? That table that I shared with you at half-time against Palace, we were on, like, basically, since Palace, we're now on a less point than we were on at half-time against you. Since we beat Forest at home, we've got 2 points. 2 points.
That's poor, man.
And look at what Forest did. You know what I mean? It's
Forest big up, man. They did. You're not
the only team. I mean, Potts would understand about, you know, points at April compared to end of May as well. Like,
embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing.
Yeah, certain teams drop points as well.
You're a disgrace, man. You're actually shambles. You're a shambles. I'm moving.
I'm a shambles.
Yeah. You're crazy, man. Just
I'm not Arsenal, bro.
Absolutely cannot. You cannot not slate other clubs. Everybody on the panel, and you're a Palace fan. You'd honestly, your chest, you'd think you must be a City fan. Like, you must be.
No. I was thinking, if I was a City fan, everyone would Genuinely,
That would be unsufferable, mate. If you were.
That would be nightmare. But no, literally with Arsenal, Potts, you already know from before. Like you lot bottled it twice, last season and this season. I don't get onto every club. I mean, I only go on to Tottenham.
I mean, the majority of clubs you do get onto. I can't lie. There's not really many. Wolves you were slating not long ago. Leeds you've been slating as soon as you come on here. Arsenal you've slated. Tottenham you've slated.
Because you're
West Ham you've slated.
That isn't right. You're drawing a whole different picture. Look, I get into Wolves because of Little Dan. Have I not said? Go and back me up here. Have I not said that I don't care about Wolves?
No, but you did though. The other week you were losing. You were throwing your rattle at the pram because Little Dan was roasting you.
Yeah, because he was triggering me. So that's not. I don't care about Wolves. It was Little Dan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
No, Little Dan was saying
let's
it.
Talk about Sava. Let's talk about Tottenham. Do I ever go on to Tottenham?
No, and you shouldn't. You shouldn't be in conversations like that.
And then, yeah, exactly. And you say something about Palace, so I'll get on to Tottenham. Now, was I getting on to Leeds? Until Joe said, I'll never forget this. He said, Palace are irrelevant anyways. You know, after we beat them, Palace are just a mid-table club. Who cares about Palace? And after that, that's why I get on to Leeds. So,
but bro, it's true though. The mad thing is, right?
It's fact.
Yeah, I feel more relevant in the EFL than Palace, and that's true.
Fine,
man.
but you don't get onto me for no reason, and
Leeds have got a history.
No of course,
Leeds have a history as well.
Yeah. I don't get onto Leeds unprovoked. It's because
provoked.
Like, yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. With Arsenal, let me not get started because that's a whole hour-long run about Arsenal because there's a lot of things about Arsenal that triggered me.
Wow.
But anyways.
I mean, not as big as Palace, obviously. Arsenal, little team, tiny team.
Not putting words into my mouth. Arsenal are a massive club, but you're also one of the biggest bottlers that the whole country's seen, and these are facts. That it's not.
Okay, D. No problem, D.
Happened many times it passed.
I'm sure you would have swapped seasons with us.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk quickly because we do need to wrap up in a minute. I'm just going to throw some names out there of players, and I want you to tell me where you think they could end up this summer. Because this summer, in my opinion, is going to be mad. And there's so many rumors out there about who's signing who's linked with who, what's going on with clubs, particularly at the top end, right? Let's just talk about Harry Kane. Little Dan, what's going to happen with him? Is he going to stay at Tottenham? Is he going to end up at United, Chelsea, somewhere like that? What's your honest opinion, man?
I think Harry Kane stays at Tottenham. Sava mentioned earlier that he'll have no ambition if he doesn't leave. But for me, he's going to end up sort of the all-time Premier League top goal scorer. He might still do stuff with England. I don't think he tarnishes his relationship with Tottenham by leaving now. I think if he was going to leave, he would have left last summer.
Wow. Okay, Joe, Declan Rice, where is he going to be playing?
Arsenal. I think he goes to Arsenal. Yeah.
Well, I hope you're right, man.
Harry Kane's going to Man United, by the way. Sorry.
I agree. I think he will as well. I think he will. Sava, do you think he will? Kane?
I think he'll go if somebody lays up the cash. Listen, it's not Harry Kane's choice. Let's call it for what it is. Harry Kane.
Yeah, that's fair.
What I'm saying, Dan, for me, it's not about necessarily if he leaves. If he doesn't hand in the transfer request, he's got no ambition. Yeah, you can be the Premier League all-time top goal scorer. So what? So what?
Yeah, but Sava, take into my sort of context. I know, like we're not as small as Palace, but Wolves are a decent sized club.
Yeah.
Let me finish, D. 1 second, man. Steve Bull is my club's all-time GOAT, and he's a one-club man. He scored all the goals for Wolves. He had so many chances to join bigger and better clubs, and he's still being willed out every other day in Wolverhampton. He will open an envelope in Wolverhampton. And when Harry Kane's career comes to an end and he looks at all those top golden boots and the relationship they still got with Tottenham at the end of his career, then I still think that's worth having then.
Yeah, but he'll have that with Spurs,
It's still no guarantee he goes to Man United and wins a title.
No, there isn't. But the thing is, there's a difference between being an absolute legend at your own club. He'll always be that at Spurs. But the top players, top players, and make no mistakes about it. Put all banter aside, Harry Kane is a world-class footballer amongst a lot of crap at Spurs. This man should not be playing at Tottenham Hotspur. This man should be playing for one of the biggest clubs in world football. And if he, all due respect to Steve Ball, obviously I remember Steve Ball, top striker, played for England and everything. But Harry Kane's that next level of striker. Harry Kane is up there in the all-time in the last decade of the best players to have played football. And he's going to end his career playing at Tottenham Hotspur, just winning Premier League top goal scorer. Okay, that's nice. That's lovely. But is that what you grow up as a kid?
Do you know what, though? Like,
you don't want to win any trophies or try to win some trophies.
I hear what you're saying, but I sort of agree with Dan in the sense because, and I know this might sound mad because Shearer did win a Prem, right? But no one remembers Shearer for winning that Premier League title at Blackburn. They all remember Shearer. They don't, though. If you talk about...
They remember all Shearer's goals, not even lifting a Blackburn Rovers title.
That's true.
They remember him in the black and white of Newcastle doing this. And it's facts.
Shearer throwing that volley past the Everton goalie in front of the Gallagher end. People remember Shearer for them massive goals, scoring for England, not winning the trot for Blackburn.
Why was he able to do? So why was he able to do that? Because he put himself on the map by being the best striker in the country, winning a title. Right? He was part of. This is the thing. It comes down to that age thing again. If you go back to that era, Shearer and Sutton forged such a deadly partnership. Yeah, won the league with Blackburn. He gets the British record transfer free at the time to Newcastle. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. He has won a Premier League. So you know when these pundits go on to Sky Sports or BBC whatever, and they'll say, "Oh, Alan Shearer, 328 goals, one Premier League title." Keynes will always say, at the moment, this many goals.
All-time Premier League goals,
right? But are you telling me that's a good? Are you telling me that's a great career for a guy with that much talent and that ability to score goals?
England captain, all-time top goal scorer in the Premier League.
Football's changed. I'll be honest. Football's changed from how
no,
it was then to how
but
it's
in
now.
10, recent, and he'll be bantered. But in 10 years' time, we'll all go, "What a fucking player, man! What a player!"
I think he's an amazing player right now. And I said it when he first burst onto the scene. I thought people were saying once he's a wonder, then no. See, like people always made excuses. So now, if you don't rate Harry Kane because he hasn't won trophies, then you're foolish because it's not.
No, but it's not about rating him. It's not about rating him. Listen, if any football fan out there doesn't rate Harry Kane, then they've got absolutely no clue about football. That's not what we're discussing. He'll be rated. He'll be remembered. But there you go. I'll ask you this, right? Sorry, Daniel. I'm sure you want to finish the show in a sec. But
go on, bro.
I'll ask you this. Can any of you name me a player as good as Harry Kane that's never won a trophy?
Matthew Le Tissier?
Who was not as good as Kane, but another top-class player, right? But Le Tissier spent his whole career at, no offence, but down at Southampton, right? Yeah. Name me a top player in world football that's never won a trophy.
Wilfried Zaha?
Anyone with a sensible answer.
Get in the
bin. You can't do it.
No, you can't. I can't anyway.
And this is the problem for me. And this is a Spurs fan saying this. Yeah, great. England's all-time top goal scorer. He might turn out to be the Premier League top goal scorer, but how can you be happy with what he sees going on at Tottenham Hotspur right now? What part of you doesn't want to go
the mentality
to your agent?
Man. It's like a losing mentality.
Get me out of here. Get me out of here right now. Now, he can decide to hand in a transfer request, but what I was saying originally was it's up to Levy whether he goes, because with 1 year left, Levy's got a huge decision to make. He's an accountant, don't forget. He's not going to want to let him go for free. So now it's about, right, Kane's on the market. Who's putting in bids? I'm pretty sure Man United will. I'm pretty sure Chelsea will, but I don't think we'd sell to Chelsea. I'm sure Bayern Munich will. I reckon Newcastle will test the waters. Yeah, I reckon Real Madrid. If you look at it, Benzema's 36. So I don't know why you wouldn't want that.
Your friend's back, Sava.
Oh, he's so boring. He's so boring. Jacob, you're boring, man. He doesn't get context. Romero's won a World Cup. So what? Doesn't make him a great player. But Harry Kane is one of the greatest players of the last decade, and he hasn't won anything. It's just.
No, I'm with you, and
it would eat me alive.
I think he will. I think he has to go to Man United for me this summer.
Yeah,
I don't understand why he would stay personally. Let's move though. Declan Rice. Anyone else see Declan Rice not going to Arsenal, going to someone else?
Yes.
Go on, D.
He might go abroad. I think he wants to win trophies. That's a bigger
He'll
thing
not
for
go
Declan
abroad,
Rice.
man.
He wants
English
to
players
leave to a bigger club, of course, than West Ham, which is not really hard to do. But I think he wants to win trophies as well. When you look at Arsenal and what they've been doing, look, you have a young team, and if I'm Declan Rice, regardless, I would want to play in that team. But if you have an option of Bayern Munich versus Arsenal,
He won't go to
you have
Germany.
to think about it. You have to
He
think
won't
about
go
it
to
because in the
Germany.
why not? Why not?
Because
Why
he
should
just
he go?
won't. English, he won't.
Yeah, but people have said this, and I think Lawless said it himself that people assume that Declan Rice wants to stay in London. That's not the case.
No, he'll want to stay in the Premier League though.
Yeah, if he stays in the Premier League, is there any
Do you
other
think he'll
club
go
than
to another
Arsenal?
Premier League club? Because it come out yesterday that Man United want to sign Rice, Mount, and Kane this summer. They're the three they want.
Man United,
you see that?
It's hard because
I don't know that he's guaranteed a place at Bayern Munich either. I think he goes to Arsenal, he's guaranteed to play week in, week out. When he goes to Bayern Munich, he's playing with people like Goretzka, Kimmich, Musiala, Gravenberch. You know what I mean? I don't think he's a shoe-in. I think he suits Arsenal. He doesn't have to move house. I don't know. It's just got Arsenal. I would have said Chelsea, but I think it's got Arsenal or Chelsea all over it.
Man United make a lot of sense as well. I think Man United, if they're looking at the rebuild under Ten Hag and building on, I think he's a very good piece to have for the next 10 years or so. Literally, if he keeps.
What do you think would be the taking my Arsenal cap off? What would be the better move? Taking my Arsenal cap off. What would be the better move for Declan Rice?
Arsenal sounds exciting. I'll be honest. Arsenal sounds more exciting due to the football that you're playing, staying in London, younger footballers playing with Saka, and you probably Saliba if he stays at Arsenal past his contract. Would you expect him to stay? Like Arsenal got a good young core, young manager. Rice is young. I think he fits in there and playing. But at Man United, when you look at the bigger picture, we've seen glimpses of United this season. I don't think people expect the Man United to be a serious title challengers already. But United could also be a nice move as well if they're selling a plan. If they're bringing new owners and they're selling a plan, United could actually. I can see United winning the title before Arsenal do.
Him and Casemiro with Bruno Fernandes in front of them.
And Harry Kane up top.
And Harry Kane up top.
And Neymar on the wing, as they're saying.
What was that?
That's what they're talking about, aren't they? Man United going mad and having Neymar and Rashford and Kane up front, and then
I don't know about Neymar.
Rice, Mount, Fernandes, Eriksen, and Casemiro. I mean, they are starting to look like title challenges.
Either way, I don't think he misses out if he goes to Manchester United or Arsenal. But for me, if I'm putting myself in Declan Rice's shoes, I would like to play for Arsenal right now. I would.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Last couple before we come to a close. Savra, I'll come to you with this one. James Maddison.
Oh, God, James Maddison. I've wanted James Maddison at Spurs since we let Eriksen go 4 years ago. I genuinely think the boy is that good. He can go and play for any of the teams in the Premier League. I think Man City will be letting... It depends. If Bernardo Silva and Gundogan go, then they need a couple more. And I think Maddison, Pep... Imagine Maddison playing with Pep. He'd do wonders with him. I think he slots in... If Liverpool want to get more of a playmaker in there, I think he goes into Chelsea. I think he could get in at Man United. I think the boy gets into any club in this country. I would put my money probably on. I would say Newcastle will splash big for him.
I agree. I think it's
but I wouldn't rule out one of the other big boys chucking in an offer because I think it's a no-brainer. If you've got, imagine Haaland up front with Grealish, Maddison,
De Bruyne,
and Mahrez with De Bruyne and Rodri. It's just like, you just...
I don't think they need Maddison. I think he goes to Newcastle.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if they lose Bernardo Silva and they lose Gundogan all in 1 year, Pep will replace them, right? And Maddison is technically good enough to go there, and you've got to be technical to play for City. So they can either have Maddison or Oliver Skip. It's up to them.
Jeez.
Yeah, one man. Joe, Mason Mount. Where did you see him going?
I think he stays at Chelsea.
Do you really?
Interesting.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow. I think he'll go. But I don't know.
Boy, man. Chelsea boy. I think he'll
You
stay.
think
There.
he'll end up staying? Okay.
It depends on
Interesting.
Poch what he's thinking, innit? Because people are talking about
But
Mason.
that's what I'm
Mount
saying.
leaving,
If Poch comes in though and gives him all the flowers, he'll stay 100%.
Yeah,
Chelsea's
that's
his team.
true. That is true.
Yeah,
That is
I think
true.
he'll stay.
we still don't know.
I think
yeah,
I think he might leave. I think he might end up at Liverpool United, if I'm honest. But we'll see
Liverpool
what
makes sense. Liverpool makes sense. But yeah, I think out of them two clubs. But then again, don't write off Chelsea as well.
Yeah.
fair play, man. Last two.
Like if Poch
go on,
says
John.
to Bowley, "I want to keep him," then he's staying in it because
Yeah.
he'll just
I'm
give
just
him
thinking
what he
right now,
wants.
Joe. Surely they're having conversations as we speak.
Are you
They
talking about
must have
Mount?
they must have talked about Mason
Mount,
Mount and
yeah.
plans for next season already. And
He would
surely-
be such a Poch player.
Yeah,
him
this is
him
the thing as well.
him and Gallagher are Poch players down to a T. They don't have to be technically the best, but the pressing, the running, the work rate, that is everything that Poch likes in his team. I think they. I mean, when people are talking about 80 million for this guy, 80 million, the world's gone mad. He might as well go and play at Palace if he's worth that much. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Just
hold
kidding,
up.
D. Just kidding, D.
No, I'm not
D,
going
I'm
to
kidding.
don't
I'm
worry.
kidding.
But my point about Gahey and all these other players I've listed,
Oh, God.
the reason for that is look at this. Look at this. 80 million for Mason Mount. Do you think it's worth 80 million pounds?
No,
100%.
no one's saying that. No.
Exactly.
No.
Let's do the last two, then we're going to come to close. The two, the Brighton boys. Lil Dan, McAllister. Do you think he's going to go Liverpool?
Man City are supposed to be skirting around him now, aren't they?
Wow, really?
I don't know whether I've just heard Chinese whispers on that one, but I'm sure Man City are coming on the outside for that one. I read.
Bloody hell! I didn't know that. I thought it was looking
I
like
might be
Liverpool.
way off. I may have read something wrong, but it wouldn't surprise me. It's a difficult one. Who's the other one, Dan?
Moses Caicedo.
Yeah, I think Casado goes to Arsenal in the end. I think Declan Rice might end up at United.
Interesting one. D, you love your Brighton boys. Where's McAllister and Caicedo going?
I couldn't give a toss where they're going. Let them just go. Let them just go. That's all I care about. As long as they go, they could go to like literally Croydon FC for all I care about. I don't, but I think Caicedo, I can see him at Arsenal. I think you guys will push for him this summer. And McAllister, I don't know. So what's the options? Liverpool,
I think.
Liverpool, yeah, I think Liverpool. I think he goes to Liverpool due to their midfield needs. So I think that could easily happen. But that's funny though. Like, some people are saying, why don't they stay? They're playing European football as it is. Why don't they stay?
They might do. They might give it one more year, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, listen. All I know is if they do go, Brighton will replace them because they do it.
They've
every
already
time.
made 3 signings, bro. They've got Milner,
Yeah.
Joao Pedro, and Dawood.
I mean,
already,
James
man.
Milner in
They don't mess
comparison
about.
to Caicedo and McAllister, I think that's a massive downgrade.
Yeah,
I think
but-
they'll have to.
But don't,
Yeah, the
don't
other lad-
underrate,
the lad they got
don't
in
underrate
Belgium
his
as well.
experience, man.
Yeah.
Don't underrate his experience.
Exactly, Joe. This is them going into their first ever European season, and they're going to need players like Dahoud and Milner for their European experience.
Yeah,
You've got to remember,
it's depth.
you've got to remember, when clubs go from playing once a week to playing twice a week, now all of a sudden, all the players aren't guaranteed to start week in, week out because you've got to start rotating. And that's where I think James Milner will be absolutely phenomenal for them. And that guy is the consummate pro, isn't he? That guy is apparently wins all the bleep tests at Liverpool, even at
Yeah,
this
he's mad.
age. Like
He's like 38 and he's still winning it. It's just incredible, really,
he's
isn't it?
nearly as fit as me. And but we've had similar careers, me and Milner,
You and James. You and
Me and
me
James.
and James. Yeah.
Listen, we're
James
going to
Milner's
wrap
one
up.
thing. So
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
No, I'm just saying. Like you might have forgotten. Like Tottenham don't
Do you
really
know
win
what?
that
Just
much,
before we go, you are one of those fans that I come into a show thinking, you know what? I don't mind Palace. They're a bit inoffensive, a bit like Fulham. Don't mind these clubs. And I've left the show really hoping that all your players get sold and you get relegated next year.
Well, that's
Just
just
saying.
like 200
I'm being
that means we
bitchy
get
about it
200
now.
pound. Near enough, so that'll be fine if all our players get sold.
No,
that'll be good.
that's just not going to happen, mate. They'll finish 13th again, like every season.
Well, maybe we can bring back the Zenith Data Trophy so they've got a chance at lifting a trophy for once.
Well, I'll take the Audi Cup. I mean, you lot.
Anyway,
won that before.
thanks
That's
for
the
having me,
best thing
Dan.
you won.
I've really enjoyed it, Dan. Cheers, mate.
This has been lit as always. Make sure you smash a like, people. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, and go over to the following people. Joe, how can people come and follow you, bro?
Yeah, just your football show. Your last weekend of Premier League content, so don't miss it.
Yeah, man, you've got to be getting yourself over to this one. You'll be doing the watch along, I guess. Just Joe. Make sure everyone gets over there and subscribes and helps Joe out. Sava, go on, bruv. Tell him.
Yeah, Football Heritage TV. A lot of Tottenham stuff, a lot of football stuff, a lot of stuff. No trophies in sight. Yeah, come and subscribe. None of that. We don't do any of that.
I can relate. Don't worry, I can relate.
Make sure you do that, mate. Make sure you do that, people. Make sure you go over to Football Heritage TV. You'll see myself and a few of the other lads on there as well. D, always a pleasure, my friend. Let people know where they can find you.
Twitter, the Palace, of course, talk about Palace and football. Of course, as you can see, I'm a massive Tottenham researcher, so I know all about Tottenham's history. So yeah, if you want to see some Tottenham content. Now, jokes aside, the Palace and Back of the Nest, Crystal Palace fan channel, reactions to the game, every match previews, opposition preview, we've got a bunch of everything. But looking forward to the end of the season. It's been a long season.
Nice one, D. Big up for coming on. Lil Dan, let them know where you can find you, mate.
Yeah, down here on the left or the right, at Little Dan KMT, kiss my teeth, remember that part. At Wolves Fancast. We've been going since like 2007. We were Football Podcast of the Year at the Football Content Awards in 2008. Sever, it was a great year for football. Yeah, I'll see you.
Sava was lifting a trophy while you was lifting the content ones.
Yeah, hopefully I'll see you on Sunday, Dan, and I'll see you next week, Joe, to wave you off on the relegation episode. Leaves are falling apart again.
Mate, if we do that, by the way, if we somehow stay up, man, honestly.
I've told you, you're going to combust live on your show on Sunday. The dogs are going to be letting off flares in the house. It's going to be a great show. At Judge Joe on YouTube, everyone, go and subscribe to him because it's going to be a feast of comedy on Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, Joe. I hope that somehow you can pull it.
I've not even thought about it, but the closer it gets, you start to go, yeah. What if though? Can you imagine if? And then it's
I don't think you should think about it, Joe. I'll be honest. You're gonna hurt yourself even more. Yeah.
I know, bro. Yeah. I know.
The thing is, what'll happen is you'll go 1-0 up, and Bournemouth will go 1-0
that's what I'm saying.
And you'll be that. You just won't be able to hack it. It'll just be too much, won't it? You know what I mean? Like Everton scoring in the 99th minute against Wolves just ruined everything, didn't it? Really? Yeah. Let's be real.
Dan, can I sing us out this episode?
Of course.
I need to jump, guys. I've really got a bounce.
You were top of the league, but now we're in May.